Modes of execution under Civil Procedure Code. Under the Civil Procedure Code, CPC, in India, after obtaining a decree from a civil court, the successful party, the decree holder, may need to enforce the decree against the judgment debtor. The modes of execution provided under the CPC allow for the enforcement of the decree and the realization of the judgment debt. Here are the various modes of execution under the Civil Procedure Code in India. 1. Attachment and sale of property. This mode involves the attachment of the judgment debtor's property, such as land, houses, vehicles, or any other movable or immovable assets. Once attached, the property may be sold to recover the amount specified in the decree. The attachment and sale process is carried out by the court-appointed executing officer, example, a court bailiff or an officer designated by the court. Case law, Union Bank of India vs. State of Karnataka, 2002. This case held that a mere attachment of property does not confer ownership or transfer the title to the decree holder. The court clarified that attachment is a security measure to prevent alienation of the property pending disposal of the execution proceedings. 2. Arrest and detention. In certain circumstances, the court may order the arrest and detention of the judgment debtor to enforce the decree. The arrest can be made when the debtor fails to comply with the court's order to pay the specified amount. However, arrest and detention are generally used as a last resort and in cases involving willful disobedience or non-payment of the decree. Case law, Satwinder Kaur vs. State Government of NCT of Delhi, 1999. This landmark case established guidelines for arrest and detention in civil execution cases. The Supreme Court held that arrest and detention should be used as a last resort when other modes of execution have failed and the judgment debtor has willfully refused to comply with the court's orders. 3. Attachment of salary or income. The court can order the attachment of the judgment debtor's salary or income to satisfy the decree. This mode allows for the deduction of a specific amount from the debtor's regular earnings and its payment towards the decree. The attachment of salary or income is subject to certain limitations and exemptions provided by law. Case law, United Bank of India vs. Satyavati Tandon, 2010. The Supreme Court clarified that attachment of salary or income can be ordered only if the judgment debtor has a regular source of income. The court further held that a reasonable portion of the debtor's earnings, necessary for the maintenance of themselves and their family, should be exempt from attachment. 4. Appointment of receiver. The court may appoint a receiver to manage and administer the property or assets of the judgment debtor. The receiver acts as an agent of the court and is responsible for safeguarding and realizing the property's value. The proceeds obtained by the receiver are then used to satisfy the decree. Case law, Hiralal Patni vs. Kalinath, 2002. This case dealt with the appointment of a receiver in execution proceedings. The court held that the appointment of a receiver is a discretionary power of the court and should be exercised when there is a justifiable need to preserve and manage the property pending disposal of the case. 5. Delivery of possession. In cases where the decree involves the possession of property, the court can issue an order for the delivery of possession. This mode is typically used in cases of eviction, recovery of possession, or specific performance of a contract. The court's order ensures that the decree holder obtains rightful possession of the property. Case law, Bank of India vs. K. Mohandas, 2009. In this case, the Supreme Court emphasized that the execution of a decree for delivery of possession should be carried out in a manner that is fair, just, and respects the rights of both parties. The court stressed the importance of ensuring that the person in possession is given an opportunity to present their case before delivery of possession is ordered. 6. Execution of decree against legal representatives. If the judgment debtor has passed away, the decree may be executed against their legal representatives, such as heirs, executors, or administrators. The legal representatives are bound by the decree and are required to comply with the court's orders. Case law, Punjab National Bank vs. Surendra Prasad Sinha, 2008. The Supreme Court in this case held that the legal representatives can be proceeded against for the execution of the decree only to the extent of the assets of the deceased person available in their hands. 7. Execution of decree by agreement. In some cases, the parties involved may reach an agreement regarding the execution of the decree. This can be done through a compromise or a settlement. Once the agreement is reached, it can be presented before the court for approval and subsequent execution. Case law, Damodar S. Prabhu vs. Syed Bablal H. 2010. This case emphasized that if parties enter into a compromise or settlement during the pendency of a suit, the terms of the compromise can be incorporated into the decree, and the decree can be executed accordingly. 8. Attachment of debt, shares and other securities. Under this mode, the court can attach any debt owed to the judgment debtor or their shares in a company. The court may also attach other securities or negotiable instruments held by the judgment debtor. The third party who owes the debt or holds the shares is directed to pay the amount directly to the decree holder. Case law, Allahabad Bank vs. Canara Bank, 2000. The Supreme Court clarified that attachment of fixed deposits and other securities can be made to satisfy a decree. The court emphasized that the attachment should be reasonable and proportionate to the decree amount. 9. Specific performance of contract. In cases where the decree requires specific performance, the court can issue orders to enforce the specific acts or obligations mentioned in the decree. The court may also impose penalties or take other appropriate actions to ensure compliance. Case law, Ram Awadh vs. Achhabal Dubey, 2011. In this case, the Supreme Court held that the specific performance of a contract is a discretionary remedy and can be granted if the following conditions are met. The contract is valid and enforceable. The plaintiff is ready and willing to perform their part of the contract. The breach of contract by the defendant is substantial and the performance of the contract involves no hardship or injustice to the defendant. These modes of execution are provided under the CPC to ensure the effective enforcement of decrees and the protection of the rights of the decree holders.